Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Israel's Movie Reviews, and we're gonna be discussing Insidious, the Red Door. Do I scare you? I hope not, man. But come on, Blumhouse. Can you come up with a better story, better film, just better films in general? I've been disappointed in this production company lately. Thoroughly disappointed with this movie, especially. I don't know. The past few films I've saw from Blumhouse have been very disappointing. You know what I mean? Halloween Ends disappointed the shit out of me. And it just continues, especially with this one. I was like, what was the point? We already knew everything that happened in the movie. There was nothing new. It was very predictable. The movie was very slow-paced and boring. There was no new material or creatures or scenes or anything that even slightly resembled the original movies. There was nothing to keep you on the edge of your seat for. You know, there were a couple of jump scares, but nothing exciting, nothing intrusive that's going to have you thinking or have you like, oh shit. The storyline was really dull, and it was exactly what we knew from the previous films. The evolution of Insidious, just disappointing. You know, when it was over, you left feeling like, why did I spend not only money on this, but just, you know what I mean? Just spent the last 2 hours of my life, you know what I mean, that I can't take back. You know, kudos to Patrick Wilson, you know, as this was his directorial debut. As a result, I think he did pretty much a solid job, because obviously, you know, this is his first time, and I think, you know, he put a movie together. Awesome. You know, I give him kudos for that. In large part, the film presents what it always does, right? The supernatural element, these supernatural events that like to see at times, but, you know, not in this film. You know, he tried to, in addition to creating these scenes with some suspense and some tension. The negative is and has to be the ending of this film. You know, this is essentially just a retelling of the first story, but 10 years later. You know, like, it was pretty much the same. I kept waiting and waiting to feel something that was going to happen, something that was going to be interesting, something that was going to be exciting and new, and it didn't happen. You know, really just anything besides a jump scare. You know, and to me, the movie obviously it had its jump scares, but they were like 2s and 3s. Nothing was a 10 all the way throughout. The story, to me, wasn't delivered well. It wasn't delivering nothing to us. At the end of the day, I think the production was also greatly hindered, in my opinion, by other variables. You know what I mean? Such as the script, the acting, the characters. The script was, you know, let's be honest, the script was poor. You know, I felt like an amalgamation, if that's the word, right, of every cliche line and trope you ever heard in a horror movie put into one script. You know, I just went through this when I was watching The Blackening. I was so disappointed with that film. And I audibly laughed at certain lines because they were just too much to handle, you know, sometimes. You know, and let's take it to the characters. You know, the characters were just plain. They were super relatable and not enjoyable enough. You know what I mean? The dad was just a little too pathetic, where it was kind of cringe worthy. You know, I don't want to get started with that because, trust me, we're going to be here all day. It was like that. It's very cliche characters, quirky random strangers, you know, pushes comfort zones, and, you know, to become friends and main characters. And so, I don't know, it's just a lot of bullshit that goes on. The actors, to me, didn't have a lot to work with, and I think that's because of the way the movie was written, honestly. But if I had to make a statement, a blanket statement regarding that, I would say that the acting, to me, was unsuccessful. You know, you could have a poor script and have great acting, or horrible acting with a great script, and this movie was neither of those. It's just horrible in general. Despite all these faults, I wouldn't say that the movie was entirely unsuccessful, because I do like Patrick Wilson as an actor. Maybe not too much as a director at the moment, but I think he has a lot of potential. Being a fan of this universe, it was nice to see certain characters, monsters, and plots revisited. A lot of people are going to be talking about the elephant in the room, which is the demon in the film and how it looks. When you look at it in the film, it's not all that scary. I think that's what pissed me off. You know, the script does revolve around the Lambert family, and the past comes back for them. That's the large part of the film, which presents these supernatural events. But I think the Scream Queen, Lynn Shay, get back to you, who's to me, minutes on the screen are just scarce. Her appearance is the only perfect score I would give this film. Honestly, like her appearance alone was top notch for me. But she wasn't even in the film that often. You know, the cinematography, I think they did a good job, especially with the editing department and the dizzying, which is gonna insinuate the kind of the suspense that's in the movie. The design of the demon, which looks like they put lipstick all over his face, and it's, you know, it can be effective if you're 5, 6 years old, but as a grown, it's gloomy. And to me, it wasn't a formidable movie when you're comparing it with the previous four. But I found it to be boring and weak. You know, at the end of the day, you know, like I mentioned before, Patrick Wilson, kudos to you for helming and leading this project. I mean, when we regard that being one of the primary characters in the franchise, he would have had a firm ground on what to conjure up. You know, no point intended, from experience doing the first two Insidiouses. But this results in like a mishmash of trying to link the first two and try to be that consistent sauce. May you have it, right, with the audience. But on top of that, it's so boring, man. It's almost a comedy. You know what I mean? The first few Insidious movies were amazing. They were creepy. This movie is not scary at all. Doesn't have any suspense to it. The bad acting plays a part in that. I think the black girl in the movie makes this almost a comedy and takes out all the suspense. And like I said, I don't mean that in a bad way. I think she's awesome in parts of the film, but in a very serious scene, you know, she's cracking jokes all the time, and it just ruins the scenes for me personally. Like I said, this movie, if you are gonna watch it at home when it comes out. It's not engaging, interesting, or even entertaining for all you have it. You know, you will not remember these characters or the story of this movie after a few days of watching it. Well, most likely, I left the theater not remembering what the hell I just saw. Should have been a lot better than it was. You know, glad the series is over, and as an Insidious fan, I'm very, very disappointed. One of the worst movies of the year, hands down. And I usually love horror movies, but this one really, you know, made me shit on myself. So it's not even worth grading, but I give it a 5 out of 10. And I'm usually very generous when it comes to scores, but yeah, that's what I gave it, man. If you disagree with me, please hit me up on the Discord. Let me know what you thought about the movie. Let me know what you thought about Patrick Wilson's debut, directorial debut. And if you think I was wrong with this review, I'm with it. Let me know. Hit me up. I'll see you on the next one. Bless up.